Hi, everybody. So we're here for the book club for Victoria Maclin and Angela Berry. Welcome, welcome. Hi, ladies.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
So
Our
good.
beautiful authors.
So good. So good. I'm really excited for this and for several reasons. So both of your stories are amazing and they touched me. And there's been feedback for both of your stories from all angles of my life. So I want you to know that. But I'm excited for other people to be able to praise and honor you for just not just the sentences, not just the paragraphs, but the tenacity and the strength, and the humility and the forgiveness. It's just a beautiful thing what you've put out into the world. So thank you very much. Sam is just joining us.
Yeah, there she is. Well, I'm just grateful to be a part of this book. Grateful for you, Tammy. Grateful for all the authors that are here and that wrote with us. Um, I didn't even know that this could be a story, until I spoke with you, Tammy, and you said, "But that's a story." I can tell because you have little emotions going on there, and I'm like, okay. Let me see. And as you know, I'm not a wordy person. I'm a straight shooter. I like to just go straight to everything, and that's it. So writing for me has been a challenge, and what should I say? It's a challenge and also a gift. I'm grateful that I was able to bring that out of me with the help of you and Ange. Helping me to go a little bit more here, do a little bit more there, because I'm like, what should I say? I already said it, but you guys were able to pull it out as well. And at the same time, what I love, even though you guys prod me and stuff, it's exactly what I wanted to say. It's exactly what was inside of me. So it's like there's no change. Sometimes when people go over your work, it's like it's a total different thing. That wasn't the case. That's exactly what I am saying. So I am grateful that you guys were able to help me to bring that out. And just to write. I love it. And as I said, I would do it again. I guess I'm a writer, right? I'm a
You're a
writer.
writer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Yes.
pinch myself and said, did you really do that? So it was a dream of mine, and to see that is my second time. I'm just grateful and honored to be here, to be able to share with you guys where I came from and what I've been through. And life is always happening. It never stops. So I'm just glad for the growth that is inside of that happened with me and all the other ladies. So I'm just glad to be here.
Mm, that's lovely.
And
Thank
I
you.
have to I have to second that. I am very grateful for the opportunity to participate in this writing group. It's been a incredible experience. And um, I have to say that one of the greatest aspects of the experience is learning how to be supported in this way. It's really an outstanding experience to receive support from everyone in the group as we were kind of laboring through this process. And it's such a wonderful example of how um, much greater a product can be when it results from collaboration as opposed to isolated activity. Um, and that was a powerful lesson for me to learn, um, as I have been. I've run a business. I've had a business. I've worked with many people collaborating with me, but this was different. This was different, and just an incredible, incredible experience. And I have to say, Angela Berry, I just got finished reading your story again. I read it about 3 weeks ago, and wanted it to be really fresh in my mind as we were
Yeah,
discussing this.
it's
And I
awesome.
have to say that one of the most enjoyable parts of reading it was how I could hear your voice throughout the whole thing. It's like
Mm.
when I read, I sub vocalize. I say every word in my head at that I'm reading. So I'm a slow reader.
Mm.
But to be a slow reader, listening to your voice, that incredible accent, oh, it was so much fun. And it also reminded me again, like just what an amazing person you are.
Mhm.
And so I just feel very blessed to be in a group of women who are so powerful and have been able to have to impact me the way I feel like I've been impacted personally just by being able to read the stories, to read everyone's stories. So yeah.
Thank you, Victoria. Shan said the same thing. She sent me a voice note when she finished reading my story. And she said the same thing too, that she was
Yes,
hearing my voice
yes,
with my
yes,
accent and all. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate the love and appreciate.
yes.
Well, it's really fun to play with the words with you, right? To make suggestions, whatever, but you're changing them. All this process, all along the way, we've got like Texas and Jacksonville, Tennessee slash whatever, and we've got New York slash Jamaica, Omaha slash Chicago, like all kinds of voices, medical and there's just so many different things happening, but it was really fun to to um, to experience the words with different voices. Even like Joyce's story, and this is later, but Joyce's story with bipolar. There's almost a bipolar flavor or accent in her words. It's just fascinating. It's just fascinating.
I think
So
all of our stories was like that. You could hear the person
Mhm.
yeah,
in all of our stories because
it's
when I read
great.
Victoria, when I read Chance, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
hear Victoria
Mm.
talking, sitting there, leaning back, and she's just talking her slow talk. I heard you. I said, yes,
Oh,
that's Victoria. And she's
yeah.
giving us lessons and, how she talks and how she sits. I could hear that in her reading. So,
So,
yeah.
Vicky, you have some news that readers are not yet aware of. Do you want to share the activity that's been happening in the last few weeks for you?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to share that. I had my ninth round of chemo on, I think it was February 24th. And um, I rang the bell. I rang the gong 9 times
Yes.
when I finished.
So,
And then a month later, I had a PET scan that was completely clear. And so I'm in remission.
Yes.
amen. That's good news.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I have
Every
goosebumps
time I hear,
again,
every
and I
time I
know
say the
this.
word, every time I
Mm.
say the word, it still overwhelms me. But yeah, I'm in remission and I'm so happy. I'm
Mm.
so happy. I'm so happy
Mm.
to be here with you guys because it was like it was a struggle writing because when I accepted the invitation to participate, I had gone through my treatment for the first time I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. And I found out after I'd accepted the invitation that I was in the midst of a recurrence. And so throughout this whole time, I was going through treatment. So it was kind of a rocky road, but I mean, at the same time, you guys were so instrumental in helping me to stay lifted and to help to help me navigate my my the lesson that I was learning
Mm.
from the experience. And so yeah,
And Vicky,
it's
what
all
was it
good.
like for you to go through that and navigate that experience? Like, what was it like inside to then process and write from the past, about the past, knowing what you were in the present. Like, what was there
Hmm.
processing of all of this stuff? Like, share about that.
I was
It was,
wondering the
you know,
same.
it was difficult because, one of the premises in my story is that I truly believe that I ended up with two cancers because I have been like a little stress baby my entire life. And I truly believe that the trauma that I experienced during childhood and adolescence and early adulthood, has kind of kept the cortisol and adrenaline burning. That was just the fuel that I lived on. I
Hmm.
was conditioned to it. And, if I wasn't stressed, I would find ways to stress myself out. And so, there were issues that I felt that I had put to bed, that I had come to terms with. And I realized when I started to revisit these stories that, wow, there's a lot there. It was pretty raw. It still felt raw. And I realized that while I had processed a lot of things, I had not fully, I had not fully processed. I had not fully excavated a lot of the emotions and the feelings that I had really been buried for a long time. And so, in order to write about them, I had to re-immerse myself. So there's this anxiety, like, oh,
Yeah.
like putting myself through this again. I'm, I thank God I'm on chemotherapy because I've got this great big kill tool that's working for me to kill these cancer cells because the experience of working through all of these experiences again, living through them, feeling them again
Mm.
was like, I felt like I was being triggered right and left. But I also had confidence that the chemotherapeutic drugs were uh, returning enough fire that I felt protected. I mean, it sounds so twisted, but I
Yeah,
did.
but
I
we
felt protected.
watched, we were there and we saw the emotions, like
Yeah,
literally. And the difference with your story, and this was the lesson for all of us, is that there was no promise of an outcome for you because
yeah,
we
that was a
all
big
knew it.
big thing. There's a big thing. That was a big thing. It's like I know that we'd had a conversation about this where many of us were writing about challenges that we had confronted and overcome.
Mhm.
And I was, I was feeling sometimes like the last person in line. It's like you're running a marathon, everybody else has crossed the finish line, and you're still out there trying to get there and saying to yourself, like, yeah, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get across the finish line. But am I? And like, how do I describe what this is? How do I describe what this is? And I think it's very interesting because I also, in the process of doing this, was like learning that a lot of the achievement comes in navigating the pain. So let me find the beauty in this. Let me find the reward in this. And then, I distilled this down to, hey, you know what? This is all about how you're managing your present moment.
Mm.
And we are all equals in that endeavor. This is where we live, in the present. Find the beauty in it, even if it feels like struggle, even if it feels like pain. And I mean, on the days where I felt so profoundly fatigued and just so beat down, I could always rise up and say to myself, you know what? If this is making me feel this way, it is kicking cancer's ass. So, I mean, it's like for me, it was just a study in finding the beauty in the present moment and having faith that I was going to get to the other side.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is a big thing, the faith.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Angie, my question for you, and then I will be done with you both. My question for you was about the anger. You expressly said, "I am so grateful for my anger."
Yeah,
Could
because
you
I call it,
explain that a little more?
um, you know, we all have a natural response to situations that we face. And, some people would cower, cry, or, the thing fawn or things like that. But I developed this anger. I just got upset. Why is he doing this? Why am I going through this? I don't accept this. So it's like a revolted anger. And that is energy. And I use that energy to propel me forward. So that's
Mhm.
what I did. I used that anger and said, you know what? I'm going to show them. I'm going to do this just to let them know that I'm going to survive and I'm going to thrive through whatever is thrown at me. And that's what I did. And I use it up until today. I still use that
If
kind of anger to propel me to do whatever I want to do. Because we know life can be tough sometimes. And even if crying is release for me, I'll cry, yes, feeling sorry for myself. But of course, I'm getting back up. Then I get strong. Then I get angry, and I just use that energy to do what I have to do to win. That's what I do.
Yeah, Michael Singer talks about transmuting those negative emotions into power
Yeah.
and to taking that and rising to the level of courage and then taking it from there and rising further and further up the spectrum of emotions. And
Yes.
yeah, because you can't stay in anger, but it's a great catapult.
That's
Great
right.
catapult.
I don't. Yeah, I
Yes.
can't say in it. You're right.
It's a great catapult.
Yeah,
You know, the
it is.
catapult can go both ways. I mean, it can go up and
Or
it can go
drop.
down the scale, but you took
Mm-hmm.
that and you catapulted
Yes.
up.
Yes. That's
So
right.
yeah, that's the beautiful inspiration in that.
Yeah.
Well, does anyone have any questions or anything they want to say to their authors?
Okay, so both of you loved your story. I think I've reached out to both of you to share my personal thoughts about your story. So I'm not going to promise to keep it brief because y'all know me better than that. Um, but I will start with Vicky. Oh my God, first of all, I have highlighted half of your story because I just resonated so much with it. We've read all the same books. Like, I feel like we do all the same work, and I'm so incredibly grateful. There was a line that you wrote. Who is the non-doctor Victoria Maclin? What is my purpose? Why do I feel frozen? Am I developing dementia? So I loved the who is the non-doctor because there was an inquiry there. So can you talk just a little bit about that moment of the facing the oh my gosh, this may not be, I've developed this entire identity around being this doctor.
Hmm.
There was almost this moment of, well, who is she and what is her purpose outside of being this doctor? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, being a doctor was my cover in so many ways. Working towards the achievement of it. Being the A student, being the one who's achieving, achieving, achieving. See what I'm doing. Don't look behind me.
Mm.
Don't look behind me. Don't look behind me. And because I was trying not to look behind me, but the ghosts are back there. They're talking, and I did not realize until I was retired, until I got up and I didn't have to go somewhere the next day. Um, I didn't realize that I was like, who is this person? Who is this person? The person that I was asking about was the person that was hidden behind what I considered an identity that grounded me from the time I was 23 years old. I graduated from medical school when I was 23. And so I've always been Dr. Maclin, always been Dr. Maclin. I would never tolerate even my staff calling me by my first name around patients because I never wanted them to be confused about who I was relative to them. And I know that sounds like a really haughty, egotistical statement, but it was also a part of the identity that I felt like I had to hold up so people would not forget that I worked really hard to achieve where I am, and don't be de minimis about what I've accomplished. I am a Black woman. I am a excellent physician. I'm an excellent teacher. I am up here, and I needed that. I needed that. And so I'm not saying that with an abundance of pride. I'm saying I was so prideful, but that was because underneath there was so much shame about the path that I had walked. And so I didn't look back. I didn't look back until all of a sudden everything that had been that this major thing that like mapped who I was, I didn't have that anymore. So I'm just like, so
What do I
you know,
do?
I was an empty nester. My children were grown up and gone. You know, everything that I had like, all my purpose, all of my purpose, all those things are gone. And so it's like, okay, so who has a conversation with Victoria Maclin, who's not a doctor? I realized that I was really, in a lot of ways, I was very isolated outside of my dealings in my community as Dr. Maclin. You know, I did community service, I've served on boards, I did stuff like that, but it's just like I just I just did not know who Victoria Maclin, not Dr. Maclin, was. And that's why I was in an existential crisis. I was confused. I was afraid. I was afraid. And once I realized that I was like in this cockpit with no instruments in a cloud, I was like, hey, I got to do something. I've got to figure this out. And that's how the search became, how it began.
Angie,
So
a
it was,
question for you.
I just, well, sorry, let me
Oh,
just
please
wrap this
go.
up real quick. I apologize. So the reason it hit me so much is because it related to me so much. And I just wanted to say that by you going there with something that was so personal and so like, who says that, right? Like who really is so authentic that they share what you just shared and writes about that, and it so applied to my own life, and it really hit me in my heart because I had been there. I lived that same thing on a different scale, but in my own, career. So I just wanted to say thank you because
It's all relative. I don't even think it's a matter of scale. It is what it is. It
It
is
feels
what
the
it is.
same.
When you feel lost to yourself, doesn't matter what you did with your life. Doesn't matter the accomplishment. Doesn't none of that stuff matters. None of it matters. I can tell you for sure. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
When you're lost and you just need to find yourself, um, like I said, I felt desperate. It was like it's do or die. Literally, it's got to do or die. It's like, what am I here for if I can't figure out who I am and what I'm here for?
mm,
Obviously, it wasn't just about this
Being a
career I
doctor.
just had.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just about that. It wasn't about these wonderful children that I've raised. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't about. It wasn't just about the relationship that I nurtured with my husband. It wasn't about. It was. It's much much deeper than that, and it's like right in here. And I had lost access to who that was.
Mm.
Scary.
Yeah. I think we can all relate to this at some point in our lives. I can relate too, you know.
Hmm.
I'm sure all of you, Nancy, Angela, that all of us women, there was a point in my
Hmm.
life where I felt the same way too. Totally lost. I'm like, oh am I without these things, without doing these things?
Hmm.
But that's why I know you guys know me. That's why I serve God. He direct
Yes.
me to find my purpose. And I'm so
Yes.
grateful that I'm walking in it right now. It's such a blessing when you
Yes.
find that. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Angela Brancato has a question for Vicky. What did it feel like to be the patient instead of the doctor? Did that
That's
affect your
why.
identity in any way?
Uh, it's I'd had many experiences actually throughout my adult life of being the patient and not the doctor. And it's a completely different perspective. It's completely different. I mean, it's just like when you're dealing with your own involvement in that kind of stuff, you kind of lose the objectivity. Um, the one thing that I can say is that it I feel extremely blessed, very, very privileged to have the insight that I do. Because as a patient, especially when you're confronting something that's really life threatening, um, man, you're so overwhelmed. You're so overwhelmed. And trying to navigate the egos and the just the behemoth that the medical system is without insight. Oh my God. I have thought such a biased point of view. I felt it was difficult, but I knew the back corridors, I spoke the language. I could get in their face and make them think about what they were saying to me. And it's nice to be able to return that kind of communication. When I'd go in to see my oncologist, she would always turn to the medical student and say, okay, it's very different when you're talking to a medical person. And, Dr. Macklin's read a lot. She understands a lot. She's going to ask me, she's going to ask really challenging questions. So just get ready. And, it was like, it always kind of make a joke of it, but it was kind of, it was funny, but not. It was funny, but it was not, and, but I have to say that I, because I have been in medicine for such a it is very long time. It's very hard to imagine going into it completely blind. And I think people without medical background really they're blinded to so much. I mean, just blinded to how medical researchers think about things and how they pose questions and how the kind of answers they get from the studies they get are so much determined by the 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 study groups that they set up and the rules that they set up. And sometimes the rules that they set up accommodate the answers that they get that are easier for them to present, navigate, interpret, etc. It's a kind of a weird world. But I had to lean into my courage to challenge, and that helped me a lot. And I'm not trying to say I was a difficult patient. I'm a good patient in a lot of ways. I'm a good patient in a lot of ways. But there were times when I'd have to push, and I'd have to ask to, like I'd do my own research. I'd find other interventions, and I want to be asking you if I can do this. I would love to have your approval. But if you can't approve, you need to give me a really good reason for why you don't approve, a substantive reason, not just, oh, we just don't do that. Okay. All right. If that's the limit of your answer, that tells me the limits of your understanding.
Hmm.
And knowing to be able to be comfortable with moving forward with what you think is like a good thing to do. You, my education gave me that confidence, and I'm very happy that I was I had that to work with. But it's hard as hell to be a patient. Hard as hell. It's hard as hell to be patient with the process of healing. Very challenging. But you learn.
I'm so sorry. Angela Berry, do you still talk to your brother, and like what is that relationship like?
Um, yes, he's still the same way. To be honest, he is. He's just gotten older. But I'm a different person, of course. So I still try to talk to him. He still doesn't talk much. Whenever we have a family gathering and I'll see him, he doesn't talk much still. But I try my best to talk with him. He gives me one answers, not much, but he's who he is and I'm who I am. And I've moved past that. I've outgrown that now. And I forgave him. Wish him well and still pray for him. Hopefully, one day he'll come.
Angela Brancato also wants to ask you, Angie, what were the biggest adjustments you had to make when you moved to the United States, other than the weather?
Man, it was not easy. I'm telling you. First thing, um, I was coming from a professional background from my country, having my own home, my own car, because you see how I was always pushing. And then I had to come here and start all over. That was not easy. I have to work real hard. I've never worked so hard in my life till when I came here. I have to work weekends, which I never do when I was back home. I had a daughter then. I couldn't spend time with her because I have to be working so hard. Living in a basement. I was used to having my own home, as I said, to pull my own door and go in. Now I have to report to somebody. I have to you know, become more humble, which was good for me. Looking back, that was good for me to help me to become a better person who I am today, because I love Jamaicans. They are my people. But I'm being honest with you, they're some proud people, which is good and also bad. You know what I mean? So I was able to learn humbleness through what I have to deal with, how hard I had to work, things I had to put up with. So that was very hard. The culture was different, the food was different, people are different. And I don't know other states. Well, I heard that other states are more friendly, but in New York back then, when I just came, there were really some stiff people here. People don't greet you. If they even say hi, they smile a fake smile. They go like this, and it's gone. you know, and that was hard for me to deal with. Everything, the weather, the food, the people, the culture. People here didn't get maternity leave at that time. That was ludicrous for me. Even though I'm coming from a third world country, because we got that. But when I came here, there was so much difference. Even when I bought my first home, you had to shovel your snow or you get ticket, things like that. We didn't get that back home. You know, a lot of rules is here that back home we don't deal with that. So it was a real culture shock to deal with a lot of those little things and big things. But now, I guess I've gotten used to it. Now I love New York. That's something. I love New York. As I said before, I know I'm not going to live here permanently because I love the warm weather too. So I guess I'll live in two places. But now I love New York. I can get anything I want here. It's like a melting pot. So that is why I will never totally leave New York, because I can get everything here, every culture, any food that I want, I can get it here, and it's accessible. So I love New York.
I think of you as a New Yorker.
Yes.
I do. From Denise, question for Vicky: what led you to an Eastern approach to medicine?
Well, I I have been receiving acupuncture on and off for several years. I have a dear friend, my acupuncturist, Donna Huber, um, who approached me early in my time in Omaha, and her focus was on infertility treatment, the Eastern approach to infertility treatment. So she kind of acquainted me with that, and so when I talk about the Eastern medicine, I am really referring to the whole acupuncture aspect and the Chinese medicine and the Chinese herbs and things like that. And Donna is licensed to also offer those treatments as well. So that was a big influence for me. As far as like the Eastern religion, I consider myself, someone asked me the other day, are you a Christian? And I responded to them by saying, I believe in the Holy Spirit, and I believe in all of the divine interfaith messengers that bring us to understanding our relationship with the Holy Spirit. And so when I was in college, I took religion. I hated history because I had bad history teachers in grade school and high school. And I took care of most of my requirements for history in the religion department. And became very apparent to me that, there's not one way to God. I consider different religions as different interstates to get you from point A to point B. They may be different routes, but they're getting us all to the same place. Ultimately, I hope, which is to understand our oneness with God, and that, love is all there is. God is love, and love is all there is. I mean, ultimately, I think that if we, as a human species, can understand that love is really the most important thing that we can share with each other, and to lead with love, you know that's what you know that's what Jesus was about. you
Yeah.
know and so, am I a Christian? I guess I am a Christian. And do I also believe in some of the tenets of some of the other religions? Yeah, I do, because ultimately I think they're all trying to get us to the same place. These are all important messengers. Jesus was a Jew, you know and so that's where I come from with that. But I've always found Buddhism to be appealing, because it was really not about making like one messenger, it being all about one messenger. And I think that a lot of religions, there's misinterpretation in many religions about the fact that this this messenger is synonymous with God. So I've always felt very, very, I've gravitated towards this notion of oneness, and that's where I've found my peace. And I think that anything that lands us in love and leading with love, that's what we're supposed to be about. That's where the peace is. That's where the peace is. So yeah.
That's lovely. Well, I for myself, like, I feel genuine affection and love for all of the authors of both Brave and Face the Sun. And I love the process of um, the tears and the frustration and all of the angst sometimes. Like, I love that, because it's like we're reaching in there and scooping up some of that stuff and letting it go. So that's just so nice. I love also the camaraderie and assistance that you all gave to each other through the process of accountability partners and things like that. Does anybody else have any questions? You can put them in the chat if you're not able to come on.
Well, one, I would love to say I, I love both of your stories. They were like so well written, so impactful, so emotional. I related to elements of both of them. And Angie, we've been in Dream Builders sort of, but I don't feel like I really
No.
know you. And like I know of you. And then reading this story, I was like, wow, like it was almost like a missed opportunity for me, like not having the opportunity to get to know you up until now. And the two accountants in the program, and we didn't know each other. But
Yeah, that's irony right there.
right. And, I thank you for both of the stories. And Victoria, I am so incredibly happy and celebrating your good health and the good news and, going on the journey with you and then hearing the happy ending. Just,
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you, ladies, for sharing. Both so well written. Mm, good job.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nancy. I hope to get to know
You
you
know,
better too, Nancy.
Me too.
You're
I feel
from
like
New
we don't have
York.
a, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, yes, I didn't mean to make it sound like the door was closed. It's
Yeah,
just up
yeah.
until now. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely
yes.
opportunities.
I
Yeah.
said that to myself too. I said, those who didn't know me that well in Dream Builder will get to know
Oh,
me
they're gonna
now.
know me now.
Yes.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
I said that to myself. Hmm.
so
Yes.
proud of you for like the attitude and the perspective and the way you handle, I mean, for both of you, the outlook, the perspective, the strength upon which you handled all of those challenges was admirable and inspirational.
Hmm. Thank
Thank you.
you. Angela, I have a question for you. It occurred to me the first time I read your story, and it was like all over me as I was reading it again this afternoon. Um, did you ever wonder whether or not your brother had like a personality disorder? I mean, it seemed like he had a really malignant loss or deficit of empathy. I mean, just
Yeah.
was not an empathy. Just he. I
Looking
mean,
back,
there's some people that are not capable. I mean, they're missing a chip for empathy.
I said, I don't know what he has been through, but I think probably has been through something because he was here before me. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
I think something happened to him why he's the way he
Hmm.
is. Because to me, that's not normal.
No.
I don't know what happened, but something happened. Only I hope he'll write a book and let us know what happened
Maybe
to
he'll
make him
give
the
us a
way he is.
rebuttal
Because,
story next
yeah,
year.
yeah. Because, I believe all of us became who we are because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
There's a little
Yes.
girl or a little boy in all of us that was hurt or that been through something, why
Yes.
he became that way. And I was able to love him regardless, looking from that perspective, that he must have
Hmm.
been hurt in his life somewhere
Hmm.
along the way.
Hmm.
Such a great example for everybody about the forgiveness
Yeah.
when
Hmm.
it, you know, and I kind of wondered the same too. And what a great example of I wonder why they are the way they are and sending love and forgiveness and understanding like there's compassion there in the face of the crazy.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, for both of you of how you started, like both of your childhood to 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 grow into who you both grew into. I just want to honor both of you and your little girls inside of
Oh,
you.
thank you.
Like I really got to see the little girls inside of you. And, Angie, we we did know each other, and we were on 10 o'clock calls together for a long time, and I didn't know so much of your story. And who you are, such an amazing, woman of who you've grown into and who you are out in the world and who you are in your family. And to know where you came from, I just didn't know your origin story. So, like I shared with Vicky, I'm so grateful that you were able to, go there. And thank you for giving us the words, right? You were my accountability partner through this process, and you were like, I'm just doing it. Listen, I'm just doing it. You don't have to worry about me. And I'm like, you don't have to worry about me. And we just kind of touched base. But you aren't that wordy of a person. And you're like, but I've got this. Don't worry. Everything in your life is I've got this. Don't
Mhm.
worry. And nothing's a big deal to you. And I get why now. So I
Mhm.
just really see that little girl and I just honor her and I wanted to feed her so bad. I just I wanted to buy her school supplies and wrap my arms around her. But I see now the moment you talk about, and I actually watched it in real time when the hurricane happened and you sent the
Mhm.
supplies and you gathered your community and took suitcases full
Yes.
of supplies back. Oh my God, I have goosebumps. Back home. I get it now. I didn't get it before. But thank you for having us get it. And here's what I told you after I read your story and I left you a voice memo. This country is so much better off because you're in it. So,
Mhm.
despite the politics of all the crap that is out there about immigrants right now, this country is better because you are here. And I am so grateful. And keep shedding your light and sharing your story because this is an important story and people need to hear it.
Thank
Mhm.
you, Jen. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you all.
I wanted to say something real quick as I was listening to Shannon. It reminded me, Vicky, I don't know, it was during the editing process, and you talked about, I don't know if it was in the story or if you talked about it, but that scene in Gone with the Wind where Scarlett says, with God as my witness, I'll never be hungry again, or something like that.
Mhm.
What that's
Yes.
what you both have in common with your stories, Angie. You had that same
I'm gonna
moment
say
in your
that.
story.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Mhm.
interesting?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and that's really what propelled you both. So how
Yeah.
cool is that? That's really amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
When I
yeah.
when I read your
Yeah.
story, Victoria, I said that too. I said, "Oh wow, we are saying the same things."
Yes.
She said
Exact.
she
That
would
I was
never.
struck. I was
Yes.
struck by exactly the same thing. That notion of when you feel like your words are falling on deaf ears and you just know I have to survive my survival. I am responsible for my survival. And I come hell or high water, I'm gonna be okay. I
Mhm.
am
Yeah.
going to be okay. Because, you know, what choice do you have? What choice do you have? You have to keep breathing, you have to keep moving, you have to keep your eyes to the sky. And yeah, that's what that was. You know, it's powerful to a point.
And why does that feel like
To a
why does that
point
feel
until
like
you get sick. Yeah.
such a female declaration? Like you don't see guys doing that, right? They're just like maybe expected to do it or something. But for women, I think to make that declaration and you're taking your stand is huge, right? It's a huge turning point. It's
Yes.
a pivot, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because we were socialized to really not think that way, like what you do is extra. What you do is extra. And yeah, I mean that's women we have always had to like answer a call to action. We just never would get the credit for it
Mm.
that we deserved.
True.
And you know, when we were making the effort, it's just like having to fight against people trying to be de minimis about your accomplishments. That was something that I was just like powerfully, like always on high alert about. Like, hey, don't be dismissive of me and my ability. I would just like, let's just not go there. That's the fool's errand on your part. You know, so,
Yeah. Comes a point in life where you just have your enough and you have to change has to come. Ain't that
Yes.
something?
Yes. Yeah.
And just on a little aside,
Well,
Angela Berry, I love your hair.
your hair looks great.
The last time I saw you, was it was very different, and I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I love to change too. You guys who know me know that. I love to change up my look.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, hi everybody. Sorry, I was driving, but Angela, I read your story and I sent you an audio, and it's
Yeah,
just
you
so
too. Yes.
brave and
Yes.
so authentic. I love hearing where you came from and your determination, and thank you for writing your story. And to Victoria, I'm so
What you
grateful for
crying
you.
about?
I don't know. But I'm just so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful that you wrote it. You leaned into it through all of the things that you were dealing with. You trusted the process, and you wrote your story so eloquently and so beautifully, and then to have the resolve, which we knew, but it's just so beautiful. It's the book is so incredible, the stories, all the ladies, Tammy, like it's just such a wonderful book. It's going to help so many people, and I'm just so proud to call all of you, friends and family. So congratulations.
Thank,
Hmm.
thank you for
Oh,
bringing Vicky to us, Jackie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
oh, well, thank you. I like I said, I feel like one of the best parts of this experience was the um the love and the lift that I got from my collaboration with all of you. I mean, it has made me have a much greater appreciation for the power of the love of a group working together. We don't need to stand by ourselves. We don't need to stay on an island. We we have our sisters.
Yes.
Sisters are really good. We have our sisters and our brothers, but women are just like
Next level.
we're next level. We are. I think that we are exceptional, and we're so exceptional in how we have the ability to lift each other up when we are allowed to get out of the way of the competitiveness and uh in so many ways I feel like we have been forced to compete with each other in a man's world, and we can and sometimes we can really be mean, but I think that that's not the rule. And I just it's so important to find like-minded people who are guided by love. I mean, I just think that that's so important. And that is what I have found with all of you. It's such a gift. And I mean, Jackie, I don't know that even the other ladies in the group know this, but Jackie is a Reiki master, and we had the privilege of meeting each other on the trip to Bali, and she has been a guide. She has been a guide for me as this incredibly gifted woman as far as her energetic connection. It's like when I talk to her on the phone, we meet weekly for our Reiki sessions, and it's just like if I'm trying to hold something that I'm not quite do I really want to talk about this? And I mean, for God's sake, I learned like real quick that Jackie knows. I mean, her connection to the energy field is so real.
Yeah.
And if there's something that I'm omitting, your throat chakra feels a little blocked, like there's something you need to say or something you need to express. And I'm just like, how'd you do that? It's amazing. But I mean, how Jackie has been very, very instrumental in helping to guide me through this challenge. And I want to acknowledge that here because my appreciation is beyond my ability to express it in words right now. But yeah, yeah. This
I'm
is an
grateful for
amazing
you.
group of this is an amazing group of women that I have been blessed to be a part of. And I can't tell you the amount of pride that I felt when I read the entire book from cover to cover. I was overwhelmed by it. I couldn't put it down. Couldn't put it
Mm.
down. And yeah, these amazing women. So thank God for that. Tammy, thank God for your dedication to to this whole process. Angela Brancato, amazing guidance that you have been able to offer, and just how you've been able to take our words and make them be
More beautiful.
best, as our first lady,
Yes.
as our first lady
Yes.
would be best. I mean, it's
Yes.
you guys are absolutely
Yeah.
Mm.
remarkable. So
Yeah.
this is a privilege. This has been a great privilege.
Yes. It's an amazing team, both of you, Angela and Tammy.
Mhm.
We do work really well together.
I think it's a privilege to be able to have your short stories shared with us. That's really an amazing gift. Um, so thank you.
Like on the
And
back
thanks.
end, when we are editing, we have conversations weekly. Did you read that? Did you read that? That was just, oh my goodness. Did you read that? Like it's incredible. And we get this front row view, and it's all what we do is just shift the words around a little bit. We just play a little, but
Mm.
it all comes from you. The final product is yours. Your voice is still there.
Yes.
We work really hard for that to be true.
Yes.
Oh, well,
Mm.
thanks for all the emotion. Love it so much. So we're gonna have
Thank
another
you.
one of these in like 3-ish weeks, 3.5 weeks, when we're gonna talk to Joyce and to Holly. So until then, we have 3.5 weeks of reading time. So keep reading. Talk to your authors. We appreciate you both so much, Vicki and Angela.
Yes.
Love
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
that.
much.
Thank
you
you for
so
that
much.
acknowledgement, Victoria. I appreciate that, and I love you. I love you all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. That was
Thank you.
awesome.
Thanks.